As life progresses, so does our biological clock. And one of the most dreaded stages in a woman's life, it shouldn't be, is menopause, signaling an end to the reproductive years. Today, however, we're putting the spotlight on perimenopause, the transitional stage before menopause. And we've invited Louise Pitot to unpack perimenopause and how it influences and affects our brains. And she says that perimenopause is a time to actually rewire, which is a positive spin on it. You always hear menopause, perimenopause, you know, but it really is a time that represents opportunity in our lives.
Absolutely. If we can understand what's happening in our bodies and in our brains and in our minds, then we can really step into the second part of our life with renewed vigor instead of this attitude of, wow, I'm growing old.
Yeah, that dreaded period, as we mentioned. Okay, so what is perimenopause?
So perimenopause is everything that's leading up to menopause. So menopause is a woman who's passed through menopause, hasn't menstruated for a full year.
Okay.
Everything leading up to that is perimenopause.
Okay.
So the hot flashes, the night sweats, the moodiness, the insomnia, all these symptoms, which are actually just clues. So symptoms is maybe not the right word, but these are all aspects of perimenopause.
Yeah.
And they can last up to 12 to 14 years.
Oh, gosh.
The average starting age of perimenopause is about 38 to 43.
Okay. Okay. Have you ever met a person that's sort of, you know, eased into menopause without many symptoms?
I have.
And what was the difference in their life to other women that complain about the night sweats and the hot flashes and the mood changes?
An active life.
Okay.
Excellent nutrition and a wonderful attitude towards life.
Okay. Okay. So what's happening in the brain during this perimenopause stage?
Okay. So much is happening in the brain. One aspect is our autonomic nervous system.
Okay.
So autonomic nervous system governs our internal organs. It also activates the sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system. And you know me, I'm always talking about those.
It's so important, right?
So important.
Yeah.
Often
for people that
overlooked.
don't know what sympathetic and parasympathetic, just highlight it for them.
Okay, parasympathetic is the pause button. It's your health bank deposits. It's your relaxation, healing, regenerating. So to me, it's where all the magic happens. That we should be living in parasympathetic nervous dominance mostly.
That's rest and digest.
Rest
relax.
and digest.
Yeah. Okay.
Then sympathetic nervous dominance is our fight or flight. It's our health bank withdrawal. So when we are in our sympathetic dominance, we are withdrawing from our health bank because blood is taken and borrowed actually from our intestinal tract, pushed to other parts of the brain to help conquer whatever this external aggressor is.
Yeah.
But
it's supposed to be short bursts.
It's supposed to be short burst. We need stress, but it needs to be stress, and then stress is done, and we go back into parasympathetic nervous dominance.
Because it causes depletion, right?
It does.
Yeah. Okay.
So the take-home message here is our autonomic nervous system takes our thoughts and beliefs, turns it into the actual real environment, which eventually become our cells.
Wow. Wow.
And so what we're putting into our mind actually activates either our parasympathetic or our sympathetic nervous system, which then translates how we view our lives and translates it into our state of health.
So it's this complete closed feedback mechanism.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, so what this means, you know, in reality is when women enter into perimenopause or menopause, and we just lost that word, instead of saying, oh, I'm having a senior moment, which everyone thinks is really funny, we're programming our autonomic nervous system to have a senior moment. What are our thoughts? What are our beliefs around aging? And
so you become what you say. You become what you believe.
And what we believe. So our autonomic nervous system is a real thing. So it's not a woo-woo thing. It's physically happening in our minds and in our bodies.
Okay, so another aspect that you wanted to mention is PMS as well.
PMS is very interesting. So when we have
three-letter words that we don't like as well.
When we have PMS, our left and right brain hemispheres are connecting really well, and our intuition is heightened.
Wow.
And so have you ever noticed things come up that don't really serve you during this time? You know, they become stronger, and we start to notice that, every month when I'm premenstrual, this aspect keeps popping up. And we think it's just, you're just hormonal.
Yes.
You're just being silly.
You're just emotional.
You're just whatever. Yeah. Actually, we need to be making little mental notes of that, because this is a very powerful time in our life for us to deal with those things and to change those aspects of our lives.
Wow.
When that doesn't happen, perimenopause becomes the mother of all wake-up calls, because all those aspects that we just packed inside and didn't deal with
roaring to the surface.
come roaring to the surface. And so our minds go, okay, so our amygdala and our hippocampus are very important for creating memories and recalling memories. So at this time, they're flooded with hormones, and they're very active, and they go back and they're retrieving these memories, things we thought we should have dealt with that we didn't deal with. Okay. And they're going, you know what? Here's an opportunity for you.
To deal with it.
To deal with it. To deal with all your emotional stuff and create a full, rich existence for the second phase of your life. If we don't deal with it, we may become just morbid or old and bitter.
Well, it kind of makes sense. If you sort of have a bird's eye view of your life, and you look at your baby years and your teenage years, this is when you're creating all those memories, yes, but it's quite a tumultuous time. And then if you look at this perimenopausal period as the middle period, it's the time to sort that stuff out.
Absolutely.
So that you can actually enjoy,
absolutely,
the latter part of your life as well.
So what happens in our brains is really interesting, because you spoke about early childhood.
Yes.
Our relationship neurons are busy forming during early childhood. Our brain chemistry is laid down.
Okay.
So my mommy was kind and loving, so mommies are kind and loving.
Okay.
Or
whatever.
fill in the blanks.
Yeah.
So all the ways that we relate. And then we have children, we get married, or we end up with a life partner, and we're looking after everyone, and we feel needed, and it's wonderful. And one day our brain chemistry changes, we enter perimenopause, we wake up, think, can't you boil a kettle?
Yeah.
What about me?
Yes.
And so actually what's happening is our brains, those neurons that formed in early childhood, those relationship neurons, are literally rewiring themselves for us to be able to perfectly deal with our stuff, all those things that we haven't dealt with in our life, so that we can create this beautiful life going forward.
Yeah, that makes complete sense, because again, it's that opportunity to sort your stuff out so that you can actually enjoy this menopausal period, and then your more mature years, as they call them.
Yes.
Right? Any other aspects that relate to perimenopause that we don't think about?
There are just so many aspects.
Yeah.
So if you look at giving yourself permission to feel the feelings that are coming up.
Yes.
Look at grieving those past losses, the sadnesses or the regrets. So give yourself permission to actually to mourn those, and then pick yourself up and find a way forward to move on.
Is this something that you should be journaling? Should you, enlist the help of a therapist? Is it speaking to your partner? How do you recommend going through this stage?
Okay.
Yeah.
Speaking to your partner is very important, because often women will use this as an excuse.
Yeah.
They're changing.
Yeah.
Our relationship that we have now with maybe a partner that we've been with for 10 or 20 years is different, because our brains have rewired, so we are different. We cannot have that same relationship.
Yeah.
So the husbands just can't keep up with all these changes, you know. One minute I'm going to watch superhero movies with my husband, and the next minute I'm saying, it doesn't actually add anything to my life.
Yeah.
So he's trying to figure out what kind of movies we can go to.
Look, and he may be going through andropause.
Yeah, so exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so we're changing. And as a woman, firstly, we need to go inward, but we also have this creativity that's coming up now. We're not creating menstrual cycles anymore. We're not creating babies anymore as we go more into the menopausal aspect. So
there's another creative space.
Women's creativity sits in her pelvis. And so suddenly her frontal lobe is on fire, which is intuition. So there's this creativity, this intuition. So it's a time to go out and volunteer and create the life that we wanted, and work with people who are maybe less fortunate. A lot of women in their menopausal years start volunteering, because we find this voice, and the right and wrong that we had when we were children comes back to us, and this isn't right. I don't think that children should be treated like this, and we do something about it.
So you were nurturing yourself, and then you were nurturing your own children, and now you can nurture others.
Other people.
Extended others.
Yes, other people, animals, whatever aspects that we can create and just get out there and change the world. So it's such a powerful, beautiful time.
Yeah.
So yes, journaling really helps.
Talk about, as we end, the crossroads, and just how people can change their perspective during this time.
I find that a lot of women are torn between who they were and what they know, and all these dreams that they're starting to have.
Because is it a period of time where you start dreaming more?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So life was all about this, that was fine. I don't want that anymore. Yeah. What's next?
Yeah.
So it's this crossroad. And so my message to women out there is to be the woman who you truly are, not the woman that you think you should be.
You should be.
Yeah.
Now, many people, and I don't know if I introduced you as this, you're an eating psychologist. So part of we sort of discussed a lot of the psychology part and the psyche. What about foods that we should be including and foods that we should, I don't like the word excluding, but foods that we just don't have to include in our diet as regularly to help us through this transition?
Okay, absolutely. So foods that we think are powerful foods, so sugar, caffeine, alcohol, those are powerful foods, and they need to be stimulants. They need to be treated with respect. Okay. And so looking at that, because those are also not promoting fantastic neurology at this phase of our life, or any phase of our life.
A small glass of wine is okay, but you know...
A big bottle of wine is different.
Sorry, ladies.
So that's one aspect. But to me, the most important aspect when someone comes to me, before I change anything that they eat, I say, what brings you pleasure and nourishment and joy? Go out and do more of that. Because that brings your body into that parasympathetic nervous dominance, that relaxed state. And then you're able to assimilate, digest, and calorie burn whatever you're eating much better. So more important than what you're eating is who you are as an eater and what brings you joy and pleasure. Not just in perimenopause, but your whole life. Very interesting.
Oh, you always bring us such amazing ideas and concepts that, you know, really open up health issues. So thank you so much for that.